the 702 Gaming Podcast, episode number 8. I'm Jacob, and I'm here with Josh.
Yo, yo.
Before we get into the meat of it, I want to ask you, because you weren't on this episode where we talked about the Steam Deck got announced.
Ah,
Did you look into that, or
uh,
is that something you're interested in?
yeah, I mean, not playing a ton of handhelds outside of like the Switch and playing a little of the Super Mario Golf, but definitely like huge suck on that Nintendo announcement. I feel like they just kind of barged their way in. That was amazing. They were like, "Oh, Nintendo, that's all you're doing. Oh,
Here's a little
that's
competition.
yeah, that's cute. That's cute. Take that." Oh, and by the way,
Yep.
what? All the games in the library? Pow. Like they were just like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah." And then I saw something earlier today came through my feed cuz I've been looking at stuff now, and the storage is like stupid too. Like you're going to be able to hold a bunch of stuff on it. And I think in the podcast you were talking about deleting and stuff like that. I think there's going to be more storage than you think. And so you won't have to have that pain point as much. But
Yeah.
wow.
So I put $5 down on the lowest model with the least storage, but I think Jason put $5 down on either the mid or the highest. I can't remember. And what that is $5 just down in reservation of them letting you pre-order. So
Gotcha.
it's not pre-ordered, right?
Right.
It's just we're
Right.
in a queue now. But at least the $5 will mitigate a lot of people spam buying them.
Well, I mean, at least it puts you on the list to be like, and then show interest. And I wonder, I think it's super smart because when you guys were talking about it and then I saw it, I was like, like as a company, if I knew how much the demand was, and then kind of was like, okay, you guys, like we have all these like initial pre-orders if you want. It's like all these commitments. Is that they do it a lot with sports like season tickets and stuff like that. So now they can produce that many consoles or I guess handhelds or whatever you want to call it, items, and then produce that instead of having the shortage, and they can make probably a lot more money and make consumer a lot more happy because I don't have to necessarily wait and then go find it and then be scalped and just gouged in eBay or whatnot. So
And it takes that guesswork out for them on how many people are going to want this thing.
yeah,
They kind of know
exactly.
now.
Exactly. It's not like, okay,
Cool.
last year, or last time we released a handheld, it was this many units.
Right.
That number probably changes every year, and every time another console or release comes out, or even OLED, I know they're gonna get a little, some buying power from that. But I think it's super smart of like overall the way they went about it because they haven't had a handheld yet, so they know what their demand is, and now they can supply it instead of the inverse. It's kind of like, oh, we didn't really have enough, and then people end up selling them for 2 or 3 times because they get their hands on it. And so it's a way better. Like if I got one day one and it was like that, I could turn it over, I'd be like,
I know it's tempting
I could
just
wait
to
a couple more months to play the game on a handheld.
I know. Yeah. Well, we'll know in the next coming months. They're supposed to email us and say, okay, it's time to pre-order. You're up in line. You're next, So
Okay.
we'll let everybody know how that goes down. But I am excited for that. I think it's a really cool, very cool system
Yeah.
to have. I'm excited. And then one more thing real quick is I'm wearing this cool new hat. I don't know if you can see that.
Okay.
It's
Can't really read it.
it's either a T-Rex or a
I think
Velociraptor,
it
I
looks like,
think.
yeah, okay. It
Yeah.
looks like a raptor or something.
It's
Claws.
it's Michael Lewis. He's my favorite Twitch streamer.
Yeah.
I've been watching him for years, but I kind of stopped watching Twitch for a while there just due to work and
Yeah.
life. And I hopped back on him, and he's still hilarious. So you can follow him on Twitter. It's Michael_Lewis123, or on Twitch, just look for the Michael Lewis channel. The guy streams these games. He's extremely funny. It's mature content, so kids, if you're listening to this, you don't have to log on. But he's really funny. He plays scary games. He plays Sea of Thieves. He plays whatever people ask him to, or whatever he feels like playing. But he has Yoda sitting next to him, and he streams with Yoda. And he has Yoda talk with him, and sometimes Mickey joins in. Oh, it's hilarious. You have to watch it to see, but he basically Twitch streams with Yoda and Mickey. It's hilarious. So check him out because he's really good. So what we want to talk about today is there's been a few trailer drops that I thought were quite interesting.
Yeah.
This first one, I think you mentioned to me that you aren't real familiar with the game, but Dead Space,
Yeah.
they're remaking it.
Yeah. I don't. I guess that one just like went over my head. I mean, it's
Well, are
at
you
a certain
into
point.
horror games?
What was the original date? Like Dead Space came out. Like what year? Just do you know a year off the top of your head or close to it?
No, but it was the 360 era.
Yeah. See, and I didn't have a 360, unfortunately. I
Right.
was more PlayStation fanboy around that
It
time. So
it might have been on PlayStation as well. I can't remember, but basically Visceral made the original Dead Space, I
yeah.
think one, two, and three, and it's a horror shooter, third person shooter where the camera is up over your shoulder, but it's really close, kind of like Resident Evil, so it's hard to see.
Right. I watched some of the gameplay of like the
Hmm.
original one just to kind of like get an idea of where it was going. I was like, yeah, it's a little close there for me. And then,
Yeah,
yeah, some weird alien, like kind of spooky genre going on there. It's pretty
it's
cool
got
looking. The
it's
trailer is very clean, and
yeah.
kind of I can see how when his back lights up and all that, and you get hyped because you can see that character, and it's a lot cleaner.
And from what I've read, I could be wrong, it sounds like they're developing this just for the next gen consoles, not for previous, where they could take advantage of the faster SSDs and maybe the lighting effects and all that stuff. So that would be really cool. One of the things with Dead Space was these alien things are kind of like taking over bodies, and so it'll be like a deformed human coming at you. It's not
Yeah.
really
I
just
saw
an
the
alien.
little
It's like,
baby things or whatever they were. I was
yeah,
like,
exactly. With
okay.
babies coming at you and
Yeah, I was
stuff.
like, all right. And then like the adults were all, and it was like you shoot the limbs or something.
Yeah,
So and the guns look kind of weird, and it's all there's no ADS, right? It's all third person.
yeah.
Kind of. I wouldn't
And
think
that's the
that
thing.
game is too hard to like render. It didn't look super like bad, but I mean, being
Yeah.
updated, everything would look
It's
a
all
lot
close
better.
quarters and
Hmm.
stuff, so there's not like wide open areas that they
Right.
have to do. So I'm very excited about that because if they're doing next gen and it's all close quarters and everything, it's a linear game, it's going to be awesome graphics. I know it
Yeah.
is. And they're building it from the ground up in Frostbite, so like just completely they said, they have the character models and everything, but they aren't just updating graphics, they're building the whole game from the ground up. So I'm excited about that. But going back to what you're talking about, the weapons, they're all very industrial because it's like an engineer. Your guy's an
Oh,
engineer,
okay.
and you go up to these stations and you get your basically your tools, but you're converting them into weapons. So you have like one that's like a futuristic buzz saw, one that's like a nail gun, but futuristic. So they shoot out like these high
Oh,
powered,
okay.
and it's kind of like if you hit them in the arm and it'll like say it's a nail gun, it'll hit them in the arm and it'll take their arm back to the wall kind of thing. Or
Yeah, it
the
was
buzzsaw, you could chop them up.
pretty gory and stuff like that. So, uh, if that game is like, I guess the one I was watching was like a full playthrough,
Mhm.
and the video was 7 hours, something like that, 6.5. So you can like I say, in pretty linear game, then it's pretty straight through, and you just kind of keep upgrading and go through. They could do some really cool stuff with the gore and the way the weapons dismember said aliens or whatever the heck that you call them.
Yeah, whatever they are.
Monster
Yeah,
alien
it
hybrid.
those games. I hope that they remake two and three as well because while the first one and the second one were better than the third added co-op, so it wasn't as scary, but it was cool to play through it with a friend.
Yeah.
The story was really good, and then the ending of part three when they explain what all is happening was a little it's a little
Could
out
they
there, but
possibly be making have this remake already just jump off with co-op?
I don't think so because they said they're trying to keep it as close to
So
feeling like the first one.
it's
They
like a
said that,
true remake.
yeah, they said this, some of the stuff they did want to change was there's parts of the game where there's no gravity. They didn't like how it felt in part one, but they liked it in part two. So they're trying to bring stuff like that, but it won't really change the gameplay. It'll just change the feel of it to make it more modern.
Okay.
You know, yeah, maybe UI and inventory management, stuff like that, but nothing as far as co-op. That would be cool though, but wouldn't be as scary.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a cool game. I'm sure Jason would be hyped to hear about that one. I'm pretty sure he's a Dead
yeah,
Space fan.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, it looks like if
rightfully.
you were the game, it brings me back to other eras of like jump scare, first getting like jump scare games. So it was a lot of loud, sudden noises in a dark atmosphere. Walking through the spaceship or whatever it was. So I mean, it looks cool, and visually being upgraded, it might be like pretty amazeballs.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. And since it's an EA game, eventually I think it will be on EA Play,
Oh.
which means eventually it would be on Game Pass for
Oh.
free. You just have to.
Somehow it always gets back to Game Pass.
It
I
does. It's
love it.
crazy.
It's so good.
Yeah. All right. The second game is Battlefield 2042. So the newest Battlefield coming out showed a trailer of a game mode called Portal. Now this looks like a sandbox mode that allows people to create their own game modes,
Right.
create their own maps
Yep.
type thing, their
Yeah.
own battles, and let people just kind of go crazy in Battlefield. Did you get to see much of that?
No, I haven't looked into. I don't have they released like what the UI looks like necessarily, or they just kind of announced that that was going to be an option in this current Battlefield. So I don't
Do you play
really.
Battlefield?
Huh, not really. It was
You've played them before though.
I played Star Wars Battlefield
Oh, Battlefront.
or Battlefront. Right there you go. It's the same difference. So big open world and no, I mean,
Plays very similar to that.
so
Yes.
that I mean, it could be really fun. I know people get a kick out of doing all the other stunts in that game and the more immersion feel. I just don't know what that brings because it just makes me think of like Grand Theft Auto's mod mode, right? That they can have guns that shoot cars and stuff, like really weird stuff that they could, they like put Superman in the game and stuff. It's crazy. So I don't know necessarily fan made maps and like I guess just like the way you could structure a game mode and like maps could be pretty cool. Or like somebody somebody might have a good idea of a game mode type, that's not just the basic like search and destroy or capture the flag type. Maybe some other objective based, because it's what, 100 versus 100, right? What was the number? I forgot. It's
Well, I
pretty big this
know it
time.
was like 64 or something versus 64
Yeah,
at one point, but I'm sure it's at 100 or
it
something
was
now. I don't
yeah,
play
it
a
was
whole
something
lot.
or something. It was like 150 or something. It
Yeah.
was something crazy for this new one. So I know that, but
I play
overall,
Battlefield like I
Battlefield.
play Call of Duties. I play through the campaigns and then I'm done. I don't really play
Yeah,
the online too much. I
yeah.
might hop in a little bit, but it's not really my thing. But I'm on the website right now and it does say um, this creation suite includes settings, custom modes, and logic editor so you can build your own signature spin on Battlefield Sandbox. You'll be able to change team ratios, tweak victory conditions, restrict weapons, and even put different factions from different eras in Battlefield's history against one another.
Oh,
So like in the trailer, it showed people from World War One or two or whatever versus
so
these modern medics and they're shocking each other.
yeah. So that sounds more like a private playlist more than maybe modding the game. So it's
Yeah,
not
I don't
maybe
know.
changing
I mean,
maps.
maybe they're just trying to see how far it says discover, create, and then share. So I
Yeah,
guess it's
they got to be
modes
able
you
to
could
do
share
something
with
like
each
that.
other,
It
and
wouldn't be that big of a news story if it wasn't, because if it's just a private match, everybody can do private matches on everything.
yeah,
But I guess it's just like private match, but you can like change terrain and game mode and conditions and guns, and yeah, that could be cool. I mean,
could be
if
interesting.
for Battlefield competitive, I guess, or I don't know how competitive or how deep they're in the esports. It's not. It's such a big map and so many people. I don't know how they bring that down to. They literally have like.
Could you imagine? There's 100 guys up on stage playing versus each
I
other on.
I think that would have to be some LAN party. It would basically be like two different rooms or convention spaces, and just like, but
Yeah,
they're in close proximity. You know, they're still in
yeah.
the same
It's
building.
like no, that's not the audience. Those are the team. Those are
Yeah,
the teams.
yeah.
That's how many there are.
Oh, imagine
That
you
would be
like you
interesting.
actually lose 20 of your guys to like getting sick or something in COVID, so then you go battle 80 guys down. That's real
Yeah,
war.
it's saying create things like 10 players armed with assault rifles versus 50 players armed with only knives. So I guess they're just hoping that someone comes up with something wacky and
Some, hey, you know it would be really cool though. Like I said, just like the mind of some random gamer that's like, oh, would it be cool if we did it this way with this gun setup from this era, on this map with this objective, and then that becomes like a staple game mode.
right.
There's a lot more healthy ideas out there, not necessarily all of them being developers and in the industry. I
Yeah.
mean, uh,
I mean, we talked about this on a past podcast, but that MOBAs came about from World of Warcraft, or sorry, not World of Warcraft, from Warcraft 3 game editor allowing you to create your own maps and modes. And that's where MOBAs came from, League of Legends and everything. That came from Warcraft 3 custom game modes.
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying like every idea isn't lame, but they're. I'm just saying like they don't necessarily. It's a pretty good way to like outsource ideas. It's a
Yeah.
huge, it's a huge community that would think. I mean, look at a lot of top content creators and streamers, and everybody has their opinion. And then, I mean, how many times have you watched one of your favorite, content creators or talking heads, if you will, and be like, oh, yeah, that would be cool if that's in the game. But they're not necessarily attached to development, and it probably never happened in the game. It's just like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if this? And now it's, wouldn't it be cool if this? Well, there you go try it,
Yeah.
and figure out, oh, well, maybe it wasn't such a great idea.
That's why I'm not a developer
Yeah, 100 knives against two guys fully loaded
with
with whatever they
bazookas.
want. Yeah.
It's just a massacre.
Hmm.
All right. Well, the last game that popped up with the trailer was this Xdefiant. This is a what, Ubi or Ubisoft game.
Right.
This one was a little strange to me. Um, I'll be honest, because the art style mainly threw me off.
Yeah.
It's a Tom Clancy game. It has characters from like Splinter Cell and uh, The Division, and there's different factions. And I'll just read what it says. Tom Clancy's X Defiant is a free-to-play, fast-paced arena shooter that combines intense gunplay with personalized loadouts and specialized factions. As teams of gunfighters called Defiants battle for Dominion. So there's a closed beta test on August 5th that you can go sign up for. So I did sign up for the beta
Okay.
on the Series X. And if I get in, I'll definitely play it and I'll give you guys my opinion. Just looking at it, it's not really calling my name to play this.
Yeah.
I do like arena type games like Overwatch. I love. It's one of my favorite games. I don't know that this one's calling out my name.
Yeah.
Have you looked at it?
I don't not I haven't looked at it much outside of watching like a trailer, but yeah, it has that comic book kind of apex cartoony, if you will. Well, if you like,
Bleeding
yeah,
Edge,
like
if you've seen that game, it
it's
has that.
not like it's still pretty realistic and like the realism is still there.
Hmm.
Um, but me and my background from playing Division 1, Division 2, like playing a lot of even into those end game contents. The Division 2 raid, like that kind of tried to do that a couple times. That thing was terrible. Um, this is not that. And when Tom Clancy is brought up in a game, that's kind of like where I gravitate to. So this being, and again, right, it's only PvP. It's
Hmm.
just the battle. Now the cool things about it are the factions that they like bring in from other Tom Clancy titles. So it's like they put all that in a mashup and then just jumped on this like small map Valorant type game, if you
Yeah.
will. And they're really popular right now. I don't hate it, but yeah, I don't know. I'm more
Well, like, so
MMO
you're
kind of like you gotta get me
right.
MMORPG. I need that,
And
but
that's what I'm wondering is you were really into Division. Like you played every ounce of those games.
yeah.
Is this something that like Division players are like, oh man, I just wish I could be in an arena and do the dark zone with other guys that have different, you know, skill sets than mine.
Maybe you might get
Did you
some.
even like the dark zone
You get well.
in the Division?
I did actually in the second Division 2. Division 2 was a little better about it. Um, Division 1 was pretty bad only because they had a problem with glitches that gave you the highest ranked equipment, and then people would go in the dark zone to get the next level highest ranked equipment, and then basically just murder and destroy everybody because they could get the builds and they got it the fastest, and they were first to the top of the mountain. There was no after that happened, that game, like, it was just weird. There was no way to ascend to the top and knock anybody off the mountain because you could never, like, you couldn't get the gear. You couldn't get good enough to get past what other people already had at the time. It
Right.
wasn't it wasn't like awful. I mean, there was still a high skill gap for it. Um, I just don't know if that exactly translate to way like this game is looking like.
Yeah.
It,
And
it it's
I don't think
different
this is
movement.
like exactly dark zone, but it's
Hmm.
just the dark zone was the PvP aspect
Yeah.
of that game. And then like Splinter Cell, I don't know, these characters, I guess the characters don't really make sense in this game to me. The art style doesn't make sense in this game. Like Tom Clancy, even the way it's written, has a pink X
It
in
does.
between the
Yeah.
Y and the S. And like the little army guy that's next to it has like pink like expressions coming out of his head.
That's that's what's
It's
weird.
a
It
little
doesn't
weird.
scream Tom Clancy to me.
No.
Like it's because it's not enough like realism. Like even like the division, like for example, you're in the street, there's like a puddle, and then the puddle has like an image of the building because of the lighting and all that. Like this is so very still comic book. There's not really any shaders or reflections kind of going on. It's very I don't want to say dull, but it kind of gives
Well,
it like that dull animated cartoon look opposed to I'm used to seeing Tom Clancy like Splinter Cell, you know what I'm saying, Division. That's what I
that
think
brings
of.
up another point that kind of is jarring to me is that the level design is like the Division where it's very realistic. It looks like you're just in a neighborhood or on a street or between
Mm.
apartment buildings. It's very realistic, just kind of run down looking bland colors, but then the characters have these bright neon colors popping off of them, and their moves that they do are bright and colorful. It's almost like the character design doesn't match the level design to me.
Mm.
It's very weird looking.
I could be I wonder if and obviously they're not telling us everything. I wonder if because they have the different factions or whatever is going on with the game, and then they're going to bring in maps of those factions. Like they'll have home courts, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that way it
Is-
might be a little bit, but I don't know. It's just like the art style against traditional Tom Clancy, it does go against the grain quite a bit
Hmm.
for that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not. It's free to play. That's why I say it gives me like the Valorant, Rogue, whatever other game that is.
I
Like
know a
a
lot of
couple of those.
people, there's a lot of people that don't like free to play. They're against it because they're like, just let me buy the game and don't try and nickel and dime me. But a game like Apex, I've spent, I don't think any money in that, and I've gotten a lot of gameplay out of it. So this, it could turn out to be a great game, and
Yeah.
I'm not the best judge of what a game is before it comes out because
Right.
Sea of Thieves and Overwatch, I both thought I will never play this because of how cartoony it looks.
Right.
And when they came out for the betas, I tried them both, and I was like, oh, I'm buying these. They just spoke to me once I played them, and
Yeah.
this might be the same.
Well, and again, it's more of the third person style shooter, which I don't
Is this
know.
one third person?
It kind of looked like it.
Oh, it did look like that. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know if there was ADS. Was there ADS?
I don't
You have to go
know.
back. I might just be stuck on Dead Space still third person because you're
No,
just
I think you might be right. I think it might be third person.
because you could.
Oh, no, it does say first person shooter. So it is first person. So just
That's
in
a
the
big jump
video, they
too.
were
Then
showing all right, exactly. Because most of their games, well, I guess what's that one where you're out in the open? Uh I can't think of the game that they make. It's like one giant open map and you get in Jeeps and I know you've played it. It's called something like Outlands or something.
oh,
Anyways, that's a first person shooter,
the
right?
Tom Clancy open world.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was that one? Oh man, you got to look it up because it's just gonna bother us now. I did play the heck out of that one too. Like you can get in helicopters and you would raid certain bases or whatever, and you could kind of do it stealthy or not, and you'd have a team with you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That was a really fun game, by the way. What? Why can't I remember that? It had a whole
I-
storyline when you
Is
like,
it a Ghost Recon Breakpoint?
yeah,
Is
Ghost
it Breakpoint
Recon, yeah. So it's that's not is that Clancy?
or Wildlands?
Wildlands.
Wildlands. Yeah, those are all Tom
Yeah,
Clancy,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, it's
See, but that's
Wildlands I
what
was
I'm
thinking.
saying. Like
That was a first person.
that's
I
that's
know.
another perfect example. I think you could
Yeah.
do both on that one.
Oh, really? You could
Yeah,
switch?
like you can do because I remember the Wildlands, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I remember we
Wildlands,
would
yeah.
try to do. There was a lot of videos, and everybody was doing it. You would go be a sniper and just try to see how far you could hit something.
Yeah.
Some crazy 1,500 meter shots or something. It's stupid. Like you can't even see the enemy. They're like, "Yep, scope up, pow." It's like hit marker.
Yep. That's what I did in that game too, was whenever I could find a helicopter, I would just fly it to the top of a mountain and be
Yeah,
sniping from
and
up
just
on top.
snipe everybody out. Yeah, it was a lot easier that way. Um,
Yeah.
the co-op on that was cool. We that see.
Never got to play the co-op in it.
Well, I played with my brother a little bit, and then once he got on, and it was like, oh, okay, there's two of us. Stop doing like mission stealth, and we just drive the jeep right in and just like start throwing grenades and killing people, and you just mow through the content. But no, it's I really enjoyed that one. But again, that's more Tom Clancy than this game feels. I
Right.
would say, I don't.
Totally. It's more realistic, and even when a Tom Clancy game has futuristic elements in it, it looks like something that the military would make in the future. This game, there's a guy that has some sort of staff with poison in vials, poison or something, and he slams it down onto the ground and it shoots the vials out. Like that's not something the military's looking into, I don't think,
We're
at the
gonna
moment.
have to like take this game and remove it from the Tom Clancy like portfolio,
Just judge it as it
and
is.
just like try to judge it as what they're trying to do with it, because there's obviously they went a different kind of direction with their motif. I don't I don't know how else to put it, but if that makes sense,
Yeah.
I it could be really good. Like you said, it's hard to judge by one gameplay trailer. I like what the devs were saying in the trailer
Oh yeah,
that
all about gunplay
yeah.
and
So if it is first person, I don't know if they didn't show that enough in the trailer for me to like make it stand out. Now coming from Destiny and Call of Duty, playing that and like feeling gunplay there, you kind of got to get there. Like I didn't play Valorant a lot. I didn't play the other games a lot. These other free to play, like what's the other one? Rogue or what's I
well,
don't
so
know the one with
there's
Doctor Disrespect or something, but
yeah, I know which one you're talking about, but there's the main ones really right now are um Apex Legends, Call of Duty Warzone, and how am I blanking on it? What's the kid one? Well, I say kid, but
Fortnite.
it's not kids that play it. Fortnite, yeah.
Fortnite's third person though.
Fortnite is third person. So yeah, so you're really going against Apex and Warzone, which are the largest of the free to plays first person. And
Destiny's free to
if
play,
their
and that's up there
gunplay isn't
too,
as
even
good,
though it's
like
not like the
Apex is
same
so
arena.
smooth and
Yeah,
I mean the way the mobility in the game where you can slide down a hill, jump up a wall, harpoon across the map real quick.
that connection that you feel to your character in first person, it's super important, only and unfortunately, like not all games uh, do a great job of that. Like some do. I mean, even when we're talking going back to like GoldenEye, that did not feel as
No.
good as like Call of Duty. Any first person shooter you want to look at right now that's like competitive or
Yep.
a AAA title, if you will. Like, um, I know if they're trying to make it like somewhere in between that. So if it's first person and it's not third person, but it's just small arena. So then it's like Apex Arenas. Have you played that yet? That game
No,
mode,
no.
3v3. That's actually a blast. So if this
Oh,
is like something on there where it's like small map 6v6 or something, and
okay.
then they're gonna have abilities or whatever, I can get over that. Like I'm not against sci-fi, but again, it's like okay, we gotta take this game out of like the big Tom Clancy bucket and like okay, they're trying something here. Maybe like the kid playground version, and then we get like an adult version later or something. Or maybe in game it doesn't look as cartoony or comic book as we think. Maybe it'll
Yeah,
feel a lot better.
maybe not. And you bringing up arena, back in the day, World of Warcraft had arena mode that I would play, and Overwatch has a 3v3 arena mode I really like, and now you're saying Apex has one. Is Apex the same as these where you don't know what the other side has chosen as their characters until the doors open? Is that how
Um,
Apex is, or do you see what they
oh,
picked?
I can't remember. I haven't played it. I'm not like a master at it. I really enjoy it. It's very competitive and fun. Um, if you're going into it with two noobs, it's tough. I was one noob out of two experienced players, so that was okay. No, I mean I can hold my own as a shooter, but like knowing abilities and how to push and stuff, that's tough. The I think it shows you, yeah, I think it shows you their cards. Like at the beginning, like if you play Apex, they show the cards of the champions before the match. I think they show you the cards of whoever the other side is, so you have an idea of what the character types you're against.
Now,
Um,
this is after you've picked,
but
though?
then but then it's a buy phase. Well, you pick your characters first, and then you load into match.
Okay.
Okay, and then you load. I think it's the preview screen, and then you go into the buy screen. So then you have to buy. So it's a buy weapon phase, and so then I don't
Gotcha.
know what the other team has bought. I know what my team has, or what we've if we communicated that, and then we go out and then do rounds that way, and it's just a limb, and
Gotcha.
there's like a materials and a health pod out on the map you can grab to gain more materials to buy more weapons or heal up. Now, if they go something like that, when it's like 6v6 and the map is not too large, sometimes the maps are just too big,
Yeah.
right? And then like I don't want it. It doesn't seem like it's a campy game the way the trailers looked, so that could be cool.
Hmm.
Like now that the more we talk through it, like I can see maybe some more positive if it's executed and it feels good. But I mean, I could say that about everything. That was pretty general and vague.
Yeah, but no, you're right. And I think it might be interesting with the four factions or however many factions they have that might feed into the game modes they have. Maybe there's a small arena that three of the factions will get dropped into, and it's, three different teams. Maybe it's not just red versus blue. Maybe it's a third team in there, kind of like maybe they're going an Apex route with the modes and everything.
So you, constantly getting third partied.
Yeah, it could
I'm
be.
out. No, that's why I like arenas because it's just 3v3.
It's
You
two
don't
teams.
get the third party so much, but it's also a more competitive, sweaty like game mode. I think it to me it sounds like they want it because they didn't. It doesn't say on their site or anything, or they didn't announce X amount versus X amount. They didn't say.
Not not that I see,
It looked to me. It gave me the vibe of like it was going to be like five or six.
Oh, hang on. Okay. It does say on here. Let me read it. Offers a variety of competitive 6v6
Ooh,
arena
I was right.
and linear game modes, such as domination and escort. Combine that with a large pool of uniquely designed maps in rotation, and no two matches will feel the same. What's linear game mode mean?
So that's like I'm the I'm team A. We're planting bomb. You're team B. You're
Gotcha.
defending bomb. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. And so
Okay.
there's other objectives like this is one. It was one of my favorite and kind of hardest ones to pull off. It was back SOCOM, so we're talking like PlayStation 2. You did escorts, and so you would have three hostages on your side, and you'd have to take your team. And I think it was 6v6 for SOCOM at the time, and so you would have to take them. You only needed one, but you had to get it from your side of the map to their spawn and like extract the. So that's a pretty cool game mode, and it's tough because you're basically just defending this person, and sometimes people are just sniping in alleyways, and you walk this person over, like, but you could look at the hostage, if you will, or escort T, and then you just talk to them, and they would stay, or then you talk to them again, and have them follow you. So a lot of people would like take them to their little secret cubby, have them stay, go out, try to wipe out some of the map, come back, pull them out, and then go try to extract when it's advantageous.
Full tactics and
Yeah,
stuff with
yeah.
that mode.
So I think that's more linear game modes instead of
Well,
just
and
like rush everybody and domination
Tom
or eliminate.
Clancy, it's all also Rainbow Six Siege, and I know there is a escort type
Yeah,
one in there too, where
yeah.
you have a hostage or you're saving the hostage, one of the two. So I'm sure they're pulling that out of Rainbow Six.
Well, I mean that checks out with the rest of their ideals, right? Because they're bringing in characters and other
Yeah, from all
styles.
their different
Mm-hmm.
games, Splinter Cell and whatnot. So,
That,
which I,
that could be cool because what you were talking about factions, right? So they're all the different factions. There may be different characters within those, and as they grow the game, they would potentially add just like Apex or anything else. So I don't, I don't know. You're kind of getting me on the fence to maybe sign up for the alpha or beta,
hey,
whichever
just
one
sign
they're
up.
doing.
Yeah, just go to their website and it's real easy. You just register and you tell them what device you want to play it on, and that's it. It was really easy.
Yeah, I'll have to do that.
It doesn't say if I'm for sure in or not, but it didn't act like I wasn't. So we'll see.
So 6v6. Read that one more time. 6v6. Oh, sorry if you didn't have it up anymore.
No, you're good. I have it. It is a variety of competitive 6v6 arena and linear game modes,
Right.
such as domination and escort.
Okay. So, and then again, they can probably cut it down and do 3v3 and make it a smaller map and more competitive. That would be ideal. I mean, a lot of people are doing that type thing.
Yeah.
I think it could do okay.
And
Just have to
it'll
see.
be free. Just try it out. If it stinks, just delete it.
Yeah. Apex, honestly, when I first kind of looked at it, I was like, man, this, oh, too cartoony, zip line crap. But then if you can get past that and not like I'm very stubborn. So when I was like nah, but I kind of got past it a little bit, and it
It's
is a
got
really
really
fun
deep
game.
gameplay to it, right?
The BR side of it, I hate getting third partying and getting second and third all day because that happens, and
Right.
it's just part of it. You gotta like get good, I guess. Somebody to tell me in Twitter or something. Get good.
Well, get, well, out of any of the battle royales, I find Apex to be my favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah, for me by far. And I've tried pretty much all of them.
yeah.
I think there's any that I've missed.
I like Warzone even though it's TTK can be a little. See, that's coming back to that TTK discussion where I wish Apex and Warzone would meet in the middle somewhere, and that would be like a universal TTK amongst these BRs because I try to game hop across them. Like Warzone, you can't even like you get as soon as you get touched with the first bullet and you know you're not in cover, you're like, well, I'm dead. In Apex, you can like kind of run around without cover for a little bit before you get knocked.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
those are a little different things. So
They're each slightly different, which I like.
well, and
Like with Apex, I like how you pick up their badge and you go drop it and then they could get dropped back in. But then I
yeah,
liked in Warzone how you go to the, what is it, the
it's a buy
gulag or
station.
whatever?
Oh, the gulag. Yeah, you get a free
Yeah.
chance to beat the other guy to come back.
And you know what's so funny about that is every time I played Warzone out on the battlefield, I just get stomped. I get annihilated. Like right off the bat, I get killed, right? I'm just not that great at Call of Duty Online. But as soon as I go into the gulag, I get the guy every time. So I get respawned in just to die on the battlefield again.
Yeah.
I could do the 1v1s, but
Well,
I think you're right. It's that third party stuff I don't have down on that game. I do better on Apex than Warzone for sure.
so now, and we're talking about the TTK between the games. It makes me think about what this will be if you play Division, right? And it looks like it's got a ton of Division vibes to the way the characters do look. It's just that art style that's a little too unrealistic, I guess. I don't know, comic book. Anyway, I think that TTK will become something to worry about. Playing Division, you would drop like so many magazines into an enemy to like chip away at their armor bar and then to get to their health bar. Like obviously in this PvP setting, it's got to be better.
Right.
And that makes
Yeah.
a big difference for like playability and competitive, like being how competitive it can be.
So like Call of Duty, you die a lot faster than you do in Apex, right?
Yeah, easy.
Like it's yeah.
Yeah,
Someone
easy
could drop you
difference.
real quick.
Easy
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah. And then like you're saying in the division, which is obviously PvE,
Mm-hmm.
in the dark zone, it didn't take that long to die, but
It,
it wasn't nearly as quick as Call of Duty, right?
if yeah, and then if you were a person that was suited and booted in Dark Zone, and you could drop somebody pretty efficiently. I mean, that was like using a vector with some crazy build that had just all crit high damage thing. You would just like buzz them down. It was like what? It was like you come out of a little safe zone. You walk outside on the street. Your game would load, and you go around and see a dude. I was like, oh no, what's he gonna do? He just runs right over and bop. You're dead. Takes all your stuff.
Yeah. I
Oh my
always
god.
remember trying to go up ladders to go to the top of the buildings
Oh,
to get the helicopter to come pick up your loot, and just people just waiting up there on the
oh yeah,
up
yeah,
on the roof for you.
yeah. They're just like that would be the ultimate. Is just wait for because it like you can hear it pop in the distance, and then like oh great, who's about to come tear me up, take all my
Yep.
stuff? Because it was about a 95% chance it was going to happen.
Oh yeah, it did. It was 100% for me.
That's everybody knows. Division is the first thing is man. Frick the dark zone, man. Just like I'll play the rest
Just
of the
walk
game,
around it.
do the incursions and all that, but just frick the dark zone. Maybe this is the solution to the dark zone, and then they can just like you guys have, Xdefiant, so
You
you
have
don't
a
need a
place to
dark zone.
play. Yeah, who
I don't know.
knows? Cool, man. Hey, if you're listening to us on audio only on Spotify or Apple or wherever you're listening, we post these discussions on YouTube in video form. So check us out on YouTube at 702 Gaming also. We're on Twitter. Follow us at 702 Gaming on Twitter. And we're out of here.